relationship, Vivian and I have been friends for quite a number of years, going back to certainly the beginning of my career. And one day Vivian asked me if I would build a school in Uganda. And I said, no, I didn't think I could. But it was a very nice idea because Vivian was doing all this amazing work in Uganda and she needed some help. And she asked me to do this, and really I felt at the time that I couldn't give anymore. And I came home that day, I remember after her asking, feeling a little guilty, but still being a little proud of myself that I had such good boundaries. I could finally say no to something. And my son was there, who at the time was 12 years old, Bo. And something Vivian asked me, and what was going on in Bo's life at the time, clicked. And what was going on in Bo's life is that he was about to have his bar mitzvah. And the rabbi that was there had told Bo, you know, a mitzvah is when you stretch. A mitzvah is when you do something beyond what you think you're capable of. And so he needed to go from a boy to a man, some project that would really be a stretch. So I asked Bo, hey, do you want to build a school in Uganda for your bar mitzvah project? He too said no. But because I saw the connection, I sat down with Bo and I said, let's just talk about it for a minute. And I said, can you imagine that you could actually educate another human being? Could you imagine that you, Bo Bressler, over here in La Jolla, going to a private school, could help 10 or 20 or 30 kids get educated who would never have an opportunity to have a teacher or learn to read or learn to go out in the world and empower themselves? Got his interest. And we had this conversation. He asked, what would I have to do? And I said, well, you'd have to give up. First I said, you have to give up all your money for your bar mitzvah and donate it to build the school. And of course he didn't want to do that, although he didn't have any good reason not to do that. But after a few minutes of talking, he thought, okay, I could give up 100% of my money because it would inspire people that, you know, giving up 50% of your money wasn't so exciting. So Bo committed to that. He said, what else would I have to do? And I said, well, you'd have to sit down with Vivian and do a video. He said, well, I don't like the camera. I said, but that would be your mitzvah. That would be the stretch. And then he said, well, what else would I have to do? And I said, well, you'd have to ask everybody for money. And he said, I don't like to ask people for money. I don't want to ask anybody for money. I said, but that would be your mitzvah. And at the end of the day, I called Vivian and said, Bo committed to building a school in Uganda for his bar mitzvah. And that's how our relationship began. And Vivian was so gracious. She came over. She showed pictures to Bo with these beautiful faces with their eyes shining bright, who would never have the opportunity for education. And Bo wrote a little script, and then we went down to my office underneath the house, and Bo read and asked for money and gave 100% of his money, and we got people like you to contribute from all over the world. We had people who, their kids emptied out their bank accounts and wrote Bo a check for his bar mitzvah project. And then all the coaches got involved, and the people that come to my courses. And before we knew it, we had raised $160,000. And the collective heart was born.